Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and on this channel we talk Kanye West, and we finally have a little bit of an update on Donda, specifically the album cover, which I think just right off the top is already legendary. I know I'm prone to overpraise things almost immediately if you follow us on Twitter at all or the podcast, but I do think that this lives up to the hype and just how abstract and strange and kind of striking and shocking it is. So we'll get into that. Let's do a little bit of backtracking and build up to the discussion on that if you don't mind. I guess you can just skip ahead if you do mind or stop watching. But we had this yesterday, and it was all that we got from Kanye. It was just Dame Dash and Justin Bieber talking about this foam wall, which everybody's just like, Kanye, come on. And then today he said skating in Tina Frey's studio, which I wasn't sure if this was older or like present day because I looked up where Tina Frey was. She's a designer first and foremost, right? And her studio's in San Francisco. I was just like, did Kanye go out to San Francisco today? Like, he's been in Wyoming, he's working on this album, he's doing photo shoots. Why is he out in San Francisco? And it turns out he really did fly out to San Francisco, and it seems like he signed her to the Yeezy team, right? He said new Yeezy team member Tina Frey, new Yeezy team member Tina Frey. So he said it in the vowel-less font and then came back with the actual vowels on it. But I guess she's a designer that does like dishes, furniture, cases, things like just like not art stuff, right? But actual like stuff in the home. And Kanye got her onto the Yeezy team, it seems. And then he flew back to Wyoming, apparently. And he said, I will beat Biden off of write-ins. I can beat Biden off of write-ins. So getting back to his presidential efforts, I guess, which now it seems like he knows he's not going to be on the ballots, but is just trying to get people to write him in. And then Piano Trap, Lil Wayne, with all these emojis. The alien emoji sent people off as some people were like, does this mean Lil Wayne's on Alien? And Alien's supposed to be on Donda? What's going on? But if you watch the Piano Trap, which is from Funeral, I had to find out. But if you watch the music video for Piano Trap, it's a dude skateboarding for most of the video. And Kanye was skateboarding earlier today in Tina Frey's studio. So part of me wonders if he's just was on a skateboarding kick looking up videos on YouTube and came across that, or somebody was like, yo, have you seen the video for Piano Trap? And then it was also cracking me up because it almost sounds like instructions, like somebody piano trap Lil Wayne, like just trap him on a piano. And then here, this was a bit more serious, right? Kanye said, I need me. Oh no, this isn't the one. But he said, I need me and Ree to have Jay open every one of our albums out of respect and lineage. And Drake and Nicki have Wayne open every one of they albums. Wayne the GOAT, triple GOAT, yeah, spelled wrong. Which I don't know if he was referring to like Nicki was spelled wrong, Nikki, or oh no, Vision. Vision was spelled wrong. That's what he was referring to. Okay. But I think some people were confused about this. To me, it just seems like he's saying, which he's talked before about, like, you need to respect your OGs. You need to respect, like, who helped make you in this industry. And Jay-Z was one of those people for Kanye, and also Rihanna and Drake and Nicki have Wayne to thank for a lot of what happened with them. They were first signed to Cash Money. So the fact that Cash Money, right? Oh God. But it's just saying like every album that they put out, they should have like Kanye and Rihanna need to have Jay up at the top of it. And same thing with Drake and Nicki, which I think probably gets at just the idea that you have them featured just to highlight them, but also they get paid on all the future album sales, right? So it's not just about like honoring them in the art, it's about also getting them a cut of everything you do and like showing respect that way. So interesting thought. And then Kanye said, this is where it gets serious. I would like to apologize to my wife Kim for going public with something that was a private matter. I did not cover her like she has covered me. To Kim, I want to say, I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. Thank you for always being there for me. Which is a very different tone than what we were hearing just earlier this week, where Kanye seemed very past it all. Which, again, some people would chalk up to just he was in the midst of an episode and working through that and coming out kind of the other side. These are the kind of tough conversations you have to have. And then others would maybe argue it wasn't an episode at all. He was just really frustrated with things. And now that he's spoken about them out loud and had time to think and reflect on it and had people kind of come through Wyoming and talk with him, this is where he's at with Kim. I guess I'm leaning more to the first one than the second one, but I did not cover her like she has covered me. Yeah, just really thinking about the fact that like Kim has really been ride or die with Kanye, like through thick and thin, even up through recent events, and Kanye kind of putting everything out like he did and calling out her mom and calling out her and putting that business out into the world was not reciprocal energy. So him apologizing and trying to make amends and, you know, calling her his wife after the things that he had said before, it's, I don't know. I'm relieved. I'm not somebody that wanted to see their marriage fail or like Kanye escape or anything like that. I think they're better together than they are apart. I know a lot of people would disagree, but I don't know. I think they work. And then we had Yeezy Gap Year 0 right here. And you can see Kanye. I thought these were like actual silhouettes at first. And then I realized he had drawn them. But I don't know what this is. As somebody had said, there's kind of a jacket that he has that Velcros around the middle. So that seems to fit with that. It's like a vest almost like a body armor kind of thing, but just comfy, like something you'd wear skiing, right? But you can see like hoodies, jackets, t-shirts, body suits, and some pants up top. So it looks like that's going to be what we're seeing with Yeezy Gap Year 1. And then here's kind of the bread and butter, the Donda album cover, right? In all of its glory. Look at that. It is striking, like very, very striking. You have these figures ascending off the ground, moving into the sky. You have the sun that looks like it's kind of bursting with light, just giving off this energy. And then this black hole figure behind it. So there's a few things that you can immediately read into this. One, it seems very spiritual, right? With the bodies floating in the air towards this thing. And then you have the sun, which is a source of light, and the darkness behind it. And the interpretation of that can go several ways, right? Is this some kind of eclipse and the sun is moving in front of this dark thing? So these souls were heading towards darkness, and now this light, God, you could assign to this thing, is blocking that path and saving them. I think that would line up with what Kanye was saying at South Carolina rally. I mean, the album's called Donda and subtitled With Child. Kanye talked about how his dad wanted to get an abortion and his mom fought to save Kanye. And Kanye wouldn't be here if his mom had gone through with everything, right? And Kanye felt guilty because he had put Kim in a similar position where Kanye had wanted to have the abortion, Kim didn't, and now they have North. And just the thoughts of what his life would be like without North, I don't know what's making me tear up, but made him start to cry. I sympathy cry like crazy. If I see somebody crying, I just... So I think you could maybe start to make the argument, that's at least the first place that I went, that these would almost be like the souls of these babies, as weird as it is to say, like going towards darkness, and you have the intervening lights that's there to block that path, right? So I guess that's kind of where I take it. And then you just have landscape around, like that's another of the elements, the land around, the clouds around. You have this competing of the green versus the red, which creates kind of a contrast of these primary colors. Kanye has synesthesia, which means that often when he hears music, he thinks in colors. And when he sees colors, he thinks in music, right? Your senses kind of get crossed. So some people, they can touch things and they'll taste something, or they can taste something and have a visual of something. It gets really kind of trippy. And some of it's really like low key, right? But some of it's much more intense. So Kanye has talked for a while about having this synesthesia. So when he's thinking about a song, he's thinking about the colors of the song. So I do wonder in this way, like what the green and the red kind of means to him, what this bright orange means. And you can see that the beings are in the orange color, right? They're kind of awash in that light, with the one on the right being a little bit more melty. I don't think that's the word I want to use, but molten than the others. And people have read into this, like, is this little Kanye right here in the middle? Or who do these figures represent? Somebody was saying, like, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, looking at the Trinity. But I do think with the ethereal landscape and the floating bodies, you have to go to the spirit realm. And just from Kanye's recent talks around Donda and abortion and how small that these are essentially like children, and with the subtitle with child, that probably has something to do with kind of the tension of this cover, just like this the state of the souls of these kids before they're born, and are they going to go to the darkness or to the light, abortion or birth, right? So that's how I'm at least interpreting this cover now, without hearing the album. It could be that I hear the album and I just go, oh, that's the context. Sorry, wash all that away. But just kind of operating off of the context that we have right now outside of it. But then even if I didn't know Kanye's South Carolina rally, I'd still be saying you have three young figures with a dark entity back there and a bright entity there, which really sets up that tension and contrast between the darkness and the lights. And with these entities with these kids heading towards it, it seems like there's that conflict of darkness and lights, with these kids kind of in the middle of that battle. So maybe that's a broader way of looking at it. Maybe it has to do specifically with abortion or life and death, but at least these kids kind of caught in this place between this dark future and a bright future. And then you get that contrast kind of reinforced by the green and the red on opposing sides of the picture. Okay, so that's all that I really got for that. And then with the album, Kanye didn't say anything about that. You have Casey Pluto here, who Casey was mentioned in the Yeezy Sound roster that Kanye had first tweeted out. It just said Casey, and nobody really knew what that meant at first, but quickly got identified as Casey Pluto here. And he's been tweeting things like just little hints here and there that he's been involved with things. And there are tweets that he's tweeted out and been deleted. I think that this is one of the best signs, right? Like, there he is with Justin Bieber. So they've been in Wyoming. You can see they have headphones on. It says working up there. So it seems like they're still making some touches and changes to the album. And especially with Bieber coming through, I feel like it's one of those things, like, even if the album was done, right? Once you have Bieber there, you're just like, yo, listen to this. Is there anything you want to jump on? All right, you want to be part of this? Let's find a way to fit you into what's going on. That seems very Kanye like. But when will the album come out? That's still a question that we don't know. I wish it would be right now. Like, I refresh this and it's just like, Donda's out. But I don't think that's going to be the case. No, it is not. The only other thing was that TMZ had actually reported, and let's see if I can find it here, that Kanye went to the hospital earlier today. And then, yeah, right here. So this was the article. That didn't work. Okay. This was the article. Oh my God, it's so bright. You can see here, Kanye West goes to hospital over anxiety, invites paparazzi inside ranch house. Actually, they changed this. That's not what it said earlier. So this has been updated. Yeah, okay. So initially the report was that Kanye flew back from San Francisco, went to the hospital, and was there for 10 minutes. So that was the photo of him going to the hospital. And then he left and went back to the ranch. And then an ambulance came to the ranch, which you can see here. and that the ambulance then left without Kanye. And you can see this like photo of Kanye just riding away on his ATV, which is just so iconic already. um, really funny to me. But you can see the update here. After the ambulance left, Kanye invited 4 paparazzi inside his home. We're told they were there for 2 hours waiting, and Kanye finally came out for a few minutes. We're told he wanted the photogs to let him control the narrative. That was pretty much it, and they left. Okay. So, a source connected to Kanye with direct knowledge tells TMZ he went to the hospital for anxiety, but there were lots of people inside. He got uncomfortable and left. His people then arranged for an ambulance to come to the ranch. EMTs checked his vitals, heart rate, and blood pressure, and determined he was not in danger. Okay, so that's added to. That wasn't there initially. It was just the initial paragraph had been right here. Huh. Interesting. I mean, not to speculate too much on medical stuff. We know it kind of can be a bit of an insomniac, and that one of the things that they said, and it might have just been cover for 2016, but initially when he was hospitalized, they said it was for severe sleep deprivation, right? And when you're severely sleep deprived, you can, I think, more easily fall to anxiety and just like panic attacks and just those racing emotions because your body's so exhausted that it has less defenses against those things. So if Kanye has kind of been in Yeezy Gap mode, album mode, working while also dealing with the stress of everything with the presidential stuff and with the issues with Kim and Chris, and if he's kind of ramped up from that, I can definitely see why anxiety might be on the table. So that's interesting too. But I guess last thing about the cover, I never really, oh my God, this is just a photo of my dog. The last thing about the cover, I really like it. Like, I think that this is something that, again, is very striking in terms of an album cover. Like, if I were just to see this by any artist, I would go, okay, that's an album I immediately want to listen to. And if you're thinking, Chris, do you judge books by their covers? Yeah, all the time. Like, all the time, because I'm convinced that most artists will pick good covers if I like them. I don't know. I've always had that where, like, the books that I really love the most always had covers that I really loved. I've rarely had a book where I hated the cover and loved the book. Same thing with movie cases. Same thing with album covers. Like, almost always there's something about the cover that catches my eye and keys me in on, like, okay, this is somebody with an aesthetic or point of view or premise that I'm going to be into just based on the cover. So yeah, I judge based on the cover. I do. But I think this is immediately up there as just a design people are going to be all about and will kind of have some infamy, right? More so than the Jesus is King cover, which was, I don't know, it felt rushed, right? Like, not bad. The royal blue is really cool, but it just didn't have that aesthetic quality to it that we've come to expect from Kanye album covers that, like, Kids See Ghost had. And that even, like, Yay is rushed, right? It's just a photo Kanye took, but it's of this natural, like, iconic mountain range that's beautiful and kind of gets at the natural elements and aspects of the album. There's just something very fitting about that, but this is also very cool. So I guess that does it for this rambling video. We'll be back as there's more content or news to talk about it. If you're enjoying the content and want to support the channel, 3 ways. 1, just liking, subscribing, and commenting goes a long way, as it tells YouTube that people are enjoying and engaging with this channel, so then they show it to more people, which helps a lot. We also are most known for our line-by-line lyrical analysis of Kanye's discography. We've done every solo album, The College Dropout, up through Jesus is King. And those episodes are all available on our Patreon, patreon.com/Kanye Podcast, We're talking 100 plus episodes, Kanye's full discography, for $5. Like, you are going to learn so much about each song. You might not agree with everything, right? But you're going to learn something about every song, every album, and have a deeper appreciation for Kanye's discography. So that's very helpful as well. And then our podcast is just available on iTunes, Spotify. We post episodes on here too, and it goes a long way just getting listens on that, where we can point to people and be like, "See, we're charting on the iTunes top 200 music podcasts." A lot of good that's done us, but it's still nice to see. And that's it. Until next time, stay wavy, keep it loopy. Cheers.